Hey everyone, it's the Recoil Life. Sorry, my brain started there. Today there was a ad on TV that reminded me of something. Especially if you're looking to get a cell phone mostly because you're looking to get a cell phone. So what I'm talking about is these deals that try and bring you in to get sign up with them, either like full contract or it's a prepaid. I love prepaids. I've had prepaids for the last few years now for them over contract, but they try to bring you in with like a free phone. Well, let's talk about that. I don't suggest those free phones, especially if you like cameras, if you like taking selfies, if you like taking videos, fast internet. I do not suggest those because free phones are essentially, to me, junk phones. I've had them before. I've dealt with them. I actually worked at a Cricket once. Yeah, I hated it. But I got to learn something. The free phones, the $20 phones, maybe the $50 phones, they're all really old technology, especially the free ones. The free phones are probably like 5 to 10 years out of date. So that's how they're able to do this free stuff, because they're not worth much either. So if you see a phone and see an ad go, oh, come in today and get a free phone when you sign up. First of all, be very careful with that. I wouldn't personally go for it. I've noticed that with some of US Cellular things. Oh, you can get a free phone and it's the latest phone. Okay. Well, one, there's a stipulation on that. Read the fine print. If it doesn't say it in the fine print, go to the store, because some of those are credit based. We went to US Cellular thinking we'd get a free phone, one of the latest ones. And they're like, oh, well, we either don't honor that or it's based on your credit. Oh, well, it doesn't always say that in the fine print. But anyhow, that's a different story. These free phones are, like I said, 5 to 10 years out of date. So it's going to have old technology in it. If you like watching a lot of YouTube, you could. It's not going to be the fastest. You're lucky if you get 720p out of some of those. Your camera is not going to be very good. The phone's going to feel light and plasticky. Internet's probably going to be slow. It just bringing up apps is probably going to be slow and glitchy. It may be decent for the first month or two, but after that, they're going to be slow and crap. I don't suggest them, even with the $20, $50 phones. I still honestly, maybe for a kid for their first phone, maybe. But if they're going to be on it a lot, especially if they do these little small videos, I still wouldn't suggest it. So for like a first time phone, I suggest maybe an $80 phone, $80 to $100. For a first time phone for a kid, I do not suggest a $1,000 iPhone or a $1,000 Samsung. That's ridiculous. First of all, no kid needs that much for a phone. Um, Teenager, I'd probably get them maybe a $400 phone, just so I know it will function properly. My phone is a Samsung A54. Absolutely love the phone. But for free and cheap phones, no, I wouldn't do it. You know, when I worked at Cricket, I had a daughter and father come in, and the daughter's like, "Hey, I see you have this free phone," and I'm like, "Okay." My first questions were like, "Okay, what do you plan on doing with this phone? Is it just for calling? You know, are you gonna text a lot of your friends with it? Are you gonna do a lot of YouTube videos with it? Are you gonna watch a lot of YouTube videos, or what's your main purpose of the phone?" And of course, I knew about those cheap phones, and I knew about the higher end phones. No, I wasn't gonna steer straight into, of course, not $1,000 phone. No, I was at least gonna try to get her to the 80 or up mark. So anything above 100, 80 to above 100. Especially if she wanted it reliable, not slow or anything. But then her dad came in. He's like, "Whoa, what's the stat on it? Blah, blah, blah. It's fine." I'm like, "She just said she likes watching a lot of YouTube videos. It'll handle it, it's fine." No, it won't. I didn't like giving out those phones because if there was a complaint on them, they'd try and blame us. When it wasn't, it was just the phone. We had no control on what phones we had or had gotten in. Either way, Cricket wanted us to sell them. Either way. Yeah, did they want us to go try and upsell to the better phones? Yeah. But a lot of people just seen that cheap price tag. And that's all they wanted. I get it. If you're homeless, that's fine. And that all you're going to use it for is to talk on the phone. That's fine. Those probably work great for you. But if you're going to do anything other than that, I would not suggest them. I wouldn't even look towards them. You know, $20, $50, no. Maybe $80 I would go with. But I've had decent $80 phones. Not the greatest, but decent. They still don't last that long, but they last better. They last longer than the free to $20 to $50, dollar phones. So I don't suggest those cheap ones. I even had a guy come in. He was like almost homeless. He couldn't afford anything. But then he kept constantly coming in about once a week. "Hey, my phone's screwing up. It's not working. Can you fix it?" First of all, we didn't fix phones. We just sold them along with the plans. And so I asked him, I was like, "Well, what's wrong with it? What's it doing?" And he told me, it just kept locking up on him. It wouldn't do anything, especially after he took a picture. And then that's what clicked. I'm like, "Okay, let me see your memory." So he handed me his phone, and because it was a free phone, you do not get a lot of memory with those. You're lucky if you get 8 gigs of memory or 16. But he barely had any videos on it. It was mostly just pictures. His memory was full, which was causing his phone to shut down and overheat. So I told him, I was like, "I don't know how valuable these pictures are to you, but you're going to have to empty them out and clean out your memory, because that's what's causing your phone to shut down, because it has no memory to pretty much function." His system memory was all used up too. So I told him, I'm like, "I'm going to have to factory reset your phone, or at least empty out all your stuff." So I did it, and it started running smoothly again. And the only time he came back was to either pay his bill or to say, "Hey, it worked. It's running great." I'm like, "Okay, cool." Don't take that many pictures. Don't overload your phone. Otherwise, you're gonna have the same problem every single time. And that was the problem with a lot of them. You know, they didn't have a whole lot of memory in them, and they weren't fast. And they didn't. The phones didn't really know what to do if you overloaded them. So they just went in kind of like a panic mode and shut down. So that's another reason why I don't suggest them, especially if you're doing a lot of recording or pictures. Apparently, those pictures on that phone weren't that great, so they shouldn't have been taking up a whole lot of memory. But because the phone was so cheap and so low quality, it didn't hold much. Eventually, I did talk him into at least getting a little bit higher quality phone, something still under $100, and he eventually did it, and he was happy with it. But I wanted him out of that free range, so he could be a little bit more happier. Another thing with cheap free phones, or even the $20 to $50 range, your antennas are going to be a lower quality. So you're gonna have it to where you can drop calls more frequently. So if you come in and go, hey, I want a free phone, okay, they'll probably give you one, especially at Cricket. If it's a free phone and you qualify for everything and it's the top of the line phone, you'll probably be fine. It's just a special they're doing. But a lot of times with like Cricket or the lower end cell phone companies, their free phones are literally crap phones. So when it comes to drop calls, they have cheaper antennas. So we have people that come in, hey, your phone service is shit. You know, it's I'm constantly dropping calls, and I live over here, and we had a big map on the wall, so they could show us where they approximately live. But here's the thing about those maps. You have to go online. And it may say that your area is in coverage, but you have to go online and really zoom in on that area. Because then it will show you your actual spot. On the big blown up map, say the entire United States, it's not going to show little specks if it's within that yellow. So say yellow, green, blue, red, whatever company you're using. But you zoom all the way in online and actually get to your town. You may see your town barely has any signal. Because for some reason the cell towers do not reach that area. Even though when you push it all back and blow the whole United States up, you're within that yellow range or whatever, the full signal range. Which I always found that misleading. You can't go by that big map. You have to go online, bring up their coverage map, and then zoom in way on it to where you can see your town kind of clearly, or back it up to where it just says your town name. Because then it's going to show you the shrewdness. So I did that. I pulled the guy's town up, and it showed him fair coverage. Anyhow, so that was one downfall for him for Cricket. Cricket went through AT&T. I think they still do. Which AT&T actually still has pretty good towers. But there was another woman that came in, goes, well, this phone's dropping my calls. You know, it's doing this. Camera sucks in it. Why does it suck? Why does it drop my calls? So I looked her area up. She was within the actual map. But I looked at her phone, and it was one of those very, 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 very cheap phones, within free to $20 to $50. I told her, I was like, this is your reason. You're getting these cheap phones, and you're expecting a lot out of them. you can't expect a lot out of them. That saying, you get what you pay for, or don't pay for, that applies with cell phones. So she was irate and she was like, oh, your shit's still working now. That's bullshit. No, it's not. If you get these cheap phones, you're going to get cheap, crappy results. The people with the higher end phones, 200 and up, they hardly ever came in for any complaints. Generally, they were happy because they had the more updated technology in their phones. They had a better antenna in their phones, so they could get a better signal, even in the lower coverage area. So it was fine for them. You know, they were fine for the signal, the camera, and everything. So I had gotten a phone from Cricket when I worked there, and it was a decent phone. It was like $80 to $100. I mean, it's not gonna beat my Samsung here, but it was okay for what it was. So there was a lady and her friend that came in. They didn't want to spend ungodly money, which that's fine with that. I'm fine with that. I understand. But they didn't really want to spend anything over $100 either. Like, okay. So I showed them my phone. They seemed to like it. I forget what it was at the time. I don't know if it was a ZTE or what it was, but I don't remember. But even for like a little $80 phone, the camera wasn't horrible. But they wanted like high-end Samsung or iPhone quality cell phone. And this was back, oh God, I want to say this was back like 8 to 10 years ago, probably when I worked for Cricket. And I'm like, for what you're paying for is going to be decent. If you want a better quality camera in your phone, you have to pay those higher prices. At least to do $200 for a decent quality camera. But they took pictures of it. They weren't super happy, but it sufficed, you know. So to those people that come in and look for those free phones, just be wary. If it is an actual up-to-date phone within the last 2 to 3 years, you might have some decent luck with it. But if it's something small, very light, the screen looks like it's out of the early 2000s, especially with screen quality, it's probably very outdated, and which is why you're getting it for free. The only thing that might be updated in it is maybe within the last 2 to 3 years of the operating system. That's the only thing that they might get right. But don't fall for it. If maybe for a kid's first phone, they're fine, but make sure they don't take a whole lot of pictures or a whole lot of videos. And if they complain about the speed, again, you get what you pay for. You know, a young kid should be only worried about making calls. Hey, calling mom and dad up, or maybe another relative or a friend or their school or whatever. They shouldn't be worrying about crap talk or anything like that. Teenagers, still, I don't believe in $1,000 phone or even an $800 phone for a teenager. They don't need that much. You can still get great quality phones from the $200 to maybe $400 or $500 price range. My A54 was actually on sale. It was originally a $400 and some phone on sale for $200 and some bucks. So look for sales too. especially those type of things. Like I'm now through Metro. I was through Boost. We were having problems with Boost. April still has not changed from Boost. I like Metro. Yeah, they're pricier, but I like Metro. I've had decent luck with Metro so far. And they had the A54 through there, and I absolutely love that phone. It's one of my favorite phones. Really haven't had an issue with it. But are cheap phones worth it? No. No, they're not. Especially if you are expecting a lot out of them. Don't get them. Like I said, maybe for a kid, sure. But your kid or teen doesn't need the newest, latest, greatest phone either. No. My first phone was a flip phone. I didn't care. At least I had a phone to call my parents and my friends. I didn't care. And that's how it should be. So, yeah, if you're a cricket person and they want to offer you a free phone, don't get it, please. Because I know their phones it's not going to be the latest, greatest, high-end iPhone or Samsung. And I even got a phone, a Samsung phone from them, and it was like $80 to maybe over 100 and something bucks, maybe 150. Well, I thought I was upgrading to a better phone. Come to find out, either Cricket or Samsung renamed one of their shittiest phones to fool people. That's a new phone, one of the latest phones, and it wasn't. I looked into it, and it was, like I said, they just renamed it, but it was the same exact previous phone that was named something else, and it was still the same shit phone that was having a bunch of problems with it. And I still have that phone. I don't use it. I just keep it because I have important stuff on it. But don't fall for that either. Make sure it is the latest phone, and make sure the company hasn't renamed the phone. It was some Samsung J something. I forget what the heck it was, but keep an eye out for that, because they could just, if one phone's not selling, they could easily change the name of it and go, hey, there's a new phone, when it's not. So that's kind of scamish to me. I don't know if Samsung did that or Cricket, but one of them did it, and it was quite scamish. So when it comes to this, no. One of our friends offered to put us on his Cricket plan because it'd be cheaper, and I'm like, no, it won't, dude. Because if you put us on a family plan, then our internet speeds go down, because it's a throttled thing then too. Also watch out for that. If you want the max speed from Cricket, don't get a family plan. They throttle it. They actually lower your speeds when you get the family plan. Yeah, it may be cheaper, but if you want still the highest speed, it's not worth it in the long run. So if you want to go keep the highest speed, unless they fixed it recently, but I doubt it, because a lot of them do this. If you get a bundled plan or family plan, they throttle the speeds, and they actually are slower when you get a bundle or family plan. So if you want to keep your highest speeds, get single plans. May cost you a bit more, but if you want everything to work right, get your own single plans. That way you can keep the speed up. Because I thought that was kind of scamish too. Sylvia, what are you doing? Hey. Sorry, cat's being weird right now. Another thing, if you're looking for actually full unlimited data plan, which the only one that was truly unlimited was Sprint. Sprint's no longer in business now. They were the full truly unlimited. They didn't go, oh, we're unlimited until you hit this certain point, then you're throttled and you get slowed down. Sylvia, stop it. Come here. So it slows it down, but it continues. Then that's not unlimited to me. Unlimited is full speed all the time. It doesn't matter if you hit a certain point or not. That's what I loved about Sprint when they were still here. They were full speed all the time. They weren't this, oh, we're unlimited, but when you hit like 25 gigs or 35 gigs of data, it slows down, but you're still unlimited. I'm like, okay, what's it slow down to? Oh, you probably get like 3G or 4G speeds. I'm like, then it's not unlimited. Yeah, it is. No, it isn't. I don't know how many phone companies have argued with this, but throttling your speed is not truly unlimited. And there's a lot of phone companies that are getting in trouble for this, saying their plans are unlimited when they're not. I don't know why it took so long for people to figure this out. And I hope they do get in trouble because that's misleading. Throttling is not unlimited. I don't know of an actual company anymore that actually gives you truly unlimited. There's people that go through the old Sprint cell towers. But just because they go through the Sprint cell towers doesn't automatically make them unlimited. It's how the cell company sets their stuff up. So don't fall for that, oh, it's unlimited, but it's throttled at 35 gigs or 25 gigs, however much they want to put it off at. It's not unlimited. Unlimited would be full speed all the time until your next pay period or your bill paying period for your bill. Even then, it's supposed to stay. So then you pay your bill. Nothing should change. Nothing should change. Just should keep going with the speed. Just means you paid your next bill so you can keep using your phone and the service. That's truly unlimited. I kind of wish Sprint was still around for that alone, and if they still followed it. But it's ridiculous now. Cell phone companies are straight up lying to you. And until new laws pass to actually make them be honest, it's going to be very hard to make them be honest or have them be honest to you. So if you see ads for like free phones or whatever, anything, read the fine print on TV. If it still doesn't answer your question fully, go into that place and talk to them. See what the stipulations are, the regulations, whatever your qualifications have to be that makes you get that phone. Or doesn't get that phone. I don't care. But make sure they're not screwing you over. Don't look into just the few major ones like US Cellular, T-Mobile, Verizon. I think there's one other major one, AT&T. Don't look into just those. And I suggest don't look into getting a contract. Do prepaid. They have some great prepaid phones out there. You can get, your latest and greatest iPhone or your latest and greatest Samsung on prepaid. I love prepaid because you're not held into a contract. You can pretty much quit it whenever you want. And if you can't afford to pay the bill, then, like with Metro, they give you, like, I believe a full month or so to pay your bill. So it doesn't go to where if you don't pay within like a couple weeks or so, your account is like deleted. They give you a good enough time to where you're still in good graces as long as you pay it within the time frame of like a month or whatever it is. So, and that's great. I like that. Some of these don't let you do that, which is stupid annoying. Cricket, I hated their bridge system, which actually you ended up paying more with their bridge system. It was like a few dollars more than actually your monthly payment, which was stupid. It was like bridge pay or whatever it was, which was you pretty much pay half in the middle of the month just to keep your phone going, just keep your phone and service on, which had a fee for that. And then towards the end of the month, you get to pay it again. Your other half, which actually it wasn't half because that bridge added that fee, so it was actually more than your actual regular payment. So, which is a ripoff. It's another reason why I got away from Cricket. I didn't like how they ran things, and their phones weren't that great. So, just do your own research on stuff before you get it. I don't like to be screwed, and I don't like to see you guys get screwed or scammed over either. So, do research. If you feel like they're bullshitting you, they might be, but they might not be either. There's some decent phone salesmen out there. If they seem pushy, then they're in it just to try to get a sale for a higher end phone. If they seem pushy, like, oh yeah, that phone's great. Yep. When it could be the shittiest phone ever. Or if they always try and get you into that top tier $1,000 phone or $800 phone, they're in it because their boss wants them to sell that price tier phone. Or they might get a commission off of it. If that's the case, try and get a different salesperson, that's not too pushy, or go to a different company, because I hate pushy salesmen. Pushy salesmen are, they're told by their boss to be that way, but it's a crap way to do it. I've walked away from companies and they haven't gotten my money because of the way they are. If you just go, oh yeah, just take your time looking, I'll be here if you need my help. That's the type of one you should be looking for. They might keep an eye on you in case you do have questions, but at least they're not, hey, what you need help with? Can I suggest you in this phone? No, you may not. So, do your research. Don't get scammed. Don't get screwed. You don't need the latest and greatest $1,000, $800 phone. Like I said, my A54, Samsung A54 is an amazing phone. I haven't had really that much problems with it at all. It takes 4K video. I've actually done some videos on my channel with that phone, and it's done great. So you don't need these high-end phones. To me, they're just a scam. Would I love a Galaxy S24 or whatever it's called? Yeah. By Samsung? Yeah. But we don't have the budget. for that. And really the only thing that phone's got to going for is maybe an AI system that's a little bit better than what mine has, and a lot better phone or camera. But because I think those can go up to, some of them can go up to 8K and can do like 4K at 120. Mine can do 4K at 30. Well, so does my camera. So that doesn't bother me. So right now, those big prices are not justified for me. Make sure it's justified and you don't need a freaking personal loan to buy a phone with. But anyhow, I'm going to cut that right here. Please, if you will watch this all the way through, thank you. Take my advice. And don't get screwed. Don't let them push you over or around or up or down or anything like that. Just because they want your money, that's your money. But anyhow, have a good day. Like, subscribe, share, please. It helps. Leave a comment if you've gotten screwed by a previous cell phone company or phone, even. You know, even if it's a high-end phone, if it's really underperformed for you, please let me know. But for now, that's it. I hope you all have a good day. If you're in a warm climate, please stay cool and hydrated. And see you all very soon. Bye.